In part 3, I'm going to show you how to find your outside scholarly source for your literary essay. So this essay requires two sources, one your literary text and two your outside research. So three things to remind you about a scholarly source is one, it will have multiple in-text citations and a long bibliography. And this helps a scholarly source be credible because it shows you where the author got their information. Second, a scholarly source is going to be written by someone with a degree in that field, likely English or literature. And this makes a scholarly source credible because the author has established degrees and expertise in that field. And then lastly, a scholarly source is going to be written for an academic audience. And in this case, usually it'll be in some sort of academic journal publication. And it will likely say journal in the title, but not always. Now, good places to find scholarly articles are in the Multnomah Library databases, which you've already been shown how to use those, and also through Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is a new source, and if you go into the worksheet, you'll see a little video, 3-minute video link here. That'll take you to a video that I've made that'll show you how to search Google Scholar with the Multnomah Library and how to use those two together to help you find a source. Okay, so I'd recommend doing that. Now, when searching in the library database or Google Scholar, here's how I would recommend giving your search terms to help you find stuff. I would give the title of the work, and you could even put it in a little parenthesis or quotation marks to make sure the search engine keeps it together. And then I would do the author's name, and then I would either add the word criticism or analysis. And that will usually get you what you need. And you can see a little example of how it all comes together right here. All right, so when you're viewing your sources and looking for this scholarly source, what I recommend is that you look in your thesis statement at those three supporting areas and try to find a source that will support you in one of these three areas. Okay, now the whole source may not deal with one of these areas, but there should be a section in the source that does. So maybe it would be a section in the article, or a section in the book, or a section within a chapter in a book. And I'm just going to reemphasize, you do not have to read the whole thing. Like if you find a book on your author, you don't have to read that whole book on the author. What I would recommend doing is just looking in the parts of the book that deal with that specific short story. And you can do that by maybe skimming the headings, using the index in the back of the book, or even if it's an ebook, you can sometimes do like Control F and then type in the title of the short story, and it will then highlight wherever that short story is talked about. And then you can find the relevant passages in the book that way. Now, one little caveat is make sure that you do read enough to get the context of the author's argument about that section of literature or that short story, so that you're not taking it out of context and just kind of cherry picking quotes and cherry picking things to fit your argument. Okay? So those are just some tips for doing your research. What I recommend at this point is go find your source and take your notes, and this will likely take you between an hour to an hour and a half to do. And when you're done with that, go ahead and move on to part 4, where I'll walk you through how to outline your essay.